What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 11 of my Total War Warhammer 3 Settra, Great King, the Imperishable, Khemri, Kara, the Great King of Nehekara, King of Kings, Opener of the Way, Wielder of the Divine Flame, Punisher of Nomads, the Great Unifier, Commander of the Golden Legion, and many, many more campaign. So as we saw last time, the nap time for all of our pseudo-legendary lords has now ended. They have all been awoken and are getting their armies ready to go. We are making our way slowly but surely up towards the Asafsky, but Lamia, in order to take that with Khalida, which has been pretty important for this particular campaign, as this holds the best book of Nagash, the one that will give us an effectiveness for all commandments plus 50%. And that alone is very, very worth it. There is another nice book out here in the 5th book of Nagash, because it'll give us an army capacity plus 1, but it'll probably be a little bit until we get over there. Anyway, in terms of what we got to do this turn, I believe we were waiting for Repanse to attack here at Panet's location, but there might be a couple little minor things that we can do before in dealing with that. Now, first of all, we are going to want, well, I guess we'll want, I was about to say the Nehekaran Ingenuity Necrotect, although we can get these guys at higher levels soon, but I guess we won't be able to mill them, will we? Maybe we'll give this guy for one more turn. And what we can do is maybe spend a little bit in the way of canopic jars, as I've been waiting to get a few more banners on field on various units. Settra, for example, could use even more powerful chariots if we should give them the Sundering Armor banner. What's your... Yeah, that'll help out in terms of reducing the enemy's effectiveness and make the chariots a little bit tankier, which is nice. I guess the only issue there is that we wouldn't thus have room for all the banners that we currently have. We'd have to, for example, remove the banner of Eternal Flame, which does a fairly significantly decent power-up, plus 20% base weapon damage for the for these guys. And yeah, base weapon damage is very high on the Loyal Bones, for example. Well, the Sword and Board variant units, because it's kind of making me want to keep that, but then we wouldn't be able to get 4 banners here, because Settra's definitely keeping that banner of swiftness, and we really desperately need to keep the Lichbone Pennant, because we have effectively no magical damage in this entire army, other than the Sphinx of Usek and the Blessed Barks, but they're not, or the Tomb Barks rather, but they're not really meant to do magical damage. You know what, maybe I'll think about Settra. Let's do some of the other armies that are maybe a little bit easier. Okay, so Panet here, for example. We already have 2 banners. Well, that's order. We could pop an Eye of whatever it's called on you, for example. And that will go 3 banners. 1, 2, 3, and then we'll have 3 remaining. We could bump up the strength of all the Golden Host of Mahrak, although they're already reasonably strong units, so maybe it isn't necessary. If we go 1 Eye... Oh, wait. Eye, Sundering Armor, 1, 2... Oh, yes, okay, I know what we'll do. So we'll do... Icon of the Sacred Eye right here. 1. That's for the Casket of Souls. Then we will do Emblem of Withering. 1. And 2. And 3. Now that we can start spending at least a little bit in the way of our canopic jars, we'll start with getting all the banners for the armies, and then we'll follow up by getting items for heroes, sort of over time as we go. So yeah, you can lose all of these, including, unfortunately, the thing that gives you additional movement, but all good. And then there we go, all 6 banners. Alright, that should make it a little bit better for when we face off against, what, 2.5 stacks of Bretonnians here next turn? Alright, let's do maybe one more army. That was Hakor. Let's do... Wait, no, that wasn't Hakor, was it? No, that was Panet. Alright, let's do Hakor, both of the Lich Priests. We have the Hawk Legion of Settra. And I feel like since they're Settra's units, maybe we should power them up as a pretty big priority. Now, we could give them more speed. You know, I think we'll start with giving them the Emblem of Withering, making them a little bit more tankier, mostly because they already outspeed the other elements of the army by a huge amount. But later on, depending, I might just replace them with more Lot's Order to get more speed, even more speed, I should say. So let's do 4 Emblems of Withering. 1, 2. And Settra's Legion gotta be the best, right? 3. And 4. Like so. Alright, you, I believe, have a Herald, meaning that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have space for one more thing. We could do another Emblem of Withering on the Tomb Bark, for example, to make it a little bit tankier, or power up the Casket of Souls' range capabilities a little bit more. Both are pretty decent options. I'm gonna say start with the Casket of Souls because they're so rare, and then, again, if we need to adjust it later, then we can, well, adjust it. Alright, Hakor, there you go. I'm interested to see how the armies will sort of perform once they have all this stuff. So you're going to lose all of these things in your army, including that Priest of Petra, unfortunately, but it is what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4 Emblems of Withering for the Settra units, and then the Icon of the Sacred Eye for the casket. Alright, that's good enough for now, I think. I assume that we have no heroes that we need to recruit at this current time, because we're still waiting for a little bit more in the way of upgrades. So here we go, let's end the turn and see how we do here. Right, here we are. Unsurprisingly, Repanse will indeed attack us. Lots of peasants, but unsurprising that she herself, a peasant, will lead them. We got a decent amount of knights, and I think judging by the XP here, maybe these are some of her starting units. At least the knightly units are. But anyway, Icon of the... Oh! Huh. Really, you can't put the Icon of the Sacred Eye on the Casket of Souls. Okay, that kind of changes things. That's a little bit disappointing, I gotta say. Well, we could put it on one of these guys, but then... Really, you can't put it on the Casket of Souls. It's a range-only unit. That's kind of silly. I'm now wondering whether you can put these on Bone Giants, then. You can put these on a Shabti, though. Weird. Alright, well, we're gonna put the Emblem of Withering, the 3 that we got here on you. A little bit of extra armor. Wait, you were down to 60 armor? Or, maybe it'll come into effect when we're in the battle. Wait, 80 armor. Oh yeah, okay, dual effect. There we go, and I'm gonna say bump up the strength a little bit of the two Nehekara warriors. They're a little bit fragile compared to the Tomb Guard and the Golden Host of Mahrok, so a little bit of extra armor, a little bit of Sundering armor, and it should be pretty good. The Necropolis Knights need no further help. It looks like a fun fight. Go. Alrighty, I certainly hope that this shall suffice, because it's, well, I guess it's going to have to. Repanse has brought with her, what, like 7,000 peasants or something along those lines? A fair few, so we're just going to have to do our best to deal with them. And the first peasants that must feel our wrath are those that crew the field trebuchets, and a rank 9 field trebuchet, I might add. Plus 16 reload skill, plus 27 accuracy. That could potentially be pretty dangerous. 6.4 reload time, pretty darn solid. I think the reload time the casket is rather slow by comparison, 18.6 seconds, so it fires only 3 times a minute. Damn, and that does take a long time, huh? It's actually quite interesting. It almost feels like that might take so long that it's going to get outperformed by some regular artillery. I guess it does really depend on what distance it fires at, though, but either way, we are going to continue firing upon the field treb at this distance because we can't really move too much closer without stopping to fire, and besides, we have moved in our Ushabti with Great Bow, which are going to do their best to try to do as much damage as they can to whatever of the Men-at-Arms units. We got regular Men-at-Arms, sword and board here. Or actually just sword, no board. And then we got spearmen at arms with shields here, and I believe a unit of high-tier foot squires being fired upon. Again, the idea is to ignore the peasant mobs by and large, even with the buffs that Repanse offers them. We're going to... I mean, they're not going to be a problem, in theory. And the main issue that being that, like fighting units of Skaven slaves or something, with a billion peasant mobs as well as other peasant units, our units will all get sort of tied up in combat, and there won't be too much we can do about that. There is also the fact that the enemy has several fighty lords other than Repanse herself. We have a paladin as well as a lord, both on Pegasi here. And they're heading directly towards us, or more specifically, probably directly towards the Sunpiercer's Silent Watchers and unnamed Ushabti with Great Bow. They're going to have to move behind the battle line, and this particular army keeps the Necropolis Knights sort of together with the rest of the army until those guys land, because we're just going to have to deal with them. Fortunately, the Higher Titans have a little bit of anti-single target capability. I'm going to start hitting them with those Spirit Leeches. It does look like one smacks one of the Ushabti with Great Bow, but we're going to just back him off and shadow the movements of that Paladin with a unit of Tomb Guard with Halberds and a Necropolis Knight unit with Halberds. Damage to the enemy army, certainly not severe at this point, but we have done at least a little bit of it, and we're going to move forward to cast a Skull Storm in the midst of the enemy. And again, with the idea of clipping as many of the non-peasant mob units as we can. I'm going to do a little bit of damage to that unit of Knights of the Realm here, but it's only clip damage, so about 10%, but a fair few of the units of Men-at-Arms will have been wiped out. Plus, of course, the peasant mobs that got clipped. And it looks like the Second Lord has landed as well, going immediately for our Casket of Souls, which rapidly loses about 20% of its HP, and perhaps more importantly, the enemy Lord forces the Casket to engage it in melee. Once again, the Caskets of Souls in the lore should have a Casket Guard unit with them that fights to protect them, but alas, no Casket Guard in the game for some reason. And I think Caskets in the lore work completely differently than they do here. Like, the Casket isn't supposed to be like a unit that rides around like this. A mortuary priest, the keeper of the casket, I don't remember if they have a specific name or something like that, is supposed to go on the battlefield and then cast his like ritual magics, and then the casket is supposed to just sort of appear. Like, it's not dragged into the fight on the pile of bone. It sort of comes out of the pile of bone already on the battlefield. But anyway, I digress. I'm also now thinking, I wonder if they should make it so that the casket grows more powerful as it kills more people and sucks up those souls. But anyway, looks like the first of the enemy lords is pretty much done, getting hit with repeated Spirit Leeches from our Hyro Titans and surrounded by halberdiers of various types, both infantry and cavalry, and we're going to have to go after the other one. In the meantime, our anti-infantry Necropolis Knights are doing the same thing that they do in Khalid's army against Bretonnians rather than Imperials, of course, but just as effectively. And there we go. Very, very solid charges. Kill counts up to 91 with 28,000 damage. Of course, unsurprising against the piles of peasant mobs, but nonetheless, pretty darn fun. Gonna get another Skullstorm off, non-overcast this time, just to clip whatever units we can as the battle is well and truly joined. Tomb Guards start facing off against droves of peasants, as well as the Nehekara warriors helping out. And we're just going to have to do our best to take out as many as we can. Do have a very dangerous unit charging on through, getting around the masses of peasants, and this is what we were concerned about with getting mobbed like this. The questing knights will hit our units of Ushabti with Great Bow, which immediately start taking a fair bit of damage, and we're going to try to back them off. We do move our Necrotect in because he has that Overwhelm contact effect, which reduces the damage coming out of those questing knights by a fair bit, and here come the Necropolis Knights to try to knock as many of those questing knights down. Fortunately, the halberd variant should be pretty solid at fighting these guys. I'd actually be curious to see how they'd fare against each other in a one-on-one halberd versus greatsword. Alright, well, that's going to probably take a while either way. Hyro Titans continue to fight a little bit faster than they used to be with 31 move speed, thanks to those banners that we gave them. Is it worth it? I'm not entirely sure, because they're still incredibly slow, but at least they move at regular infantry speeds now instead of at zombie speeds. Otherwise, this is a massive distributed battle with tons of troops all around. Our limited amounts of infantry are engaging the enemy wherever possible, fighting in the shadow of those Hyro Titans, cutting down man-at-arm and peasant mob and battle pilgrim alike. There we go with those twin blades, and of course the Necro Titans, Hyro Titans. I'll look fantastic as they do everything that they do. Laser eye time? No? Gonna be another staff hit. I was trying to catch those laser eye animations where possible. We're gonna hit him with a... Yeah, there we go. Oh, that poor peasant got torn in half by the laser eyes. Absolutely worth it. Anyway, for us at any rate. And it looks like our other units of Necropolis Knights have obliterated a unit of Knights of the Realm here. A high-level unit at that. But the battle is still very much going, though the balance of power is at about 80% in our favor now. 2 more Spirit Leeches coming down on those lords, and once again the usefulness of the of having the bound Spirit Leech continues. Though I admit I don't find the bound Shem's Burning Gaze that the Higher Titans have particularly useful. The main issue with it is it has a very long charge-up time in which it fires, and they're not very good at using it when they're locked in melee. But when the enemy is advancing, they kind of take so long to charge up that it's kind of difficult to get a single shot off. And the range is rather short as well. If it was increased in range by at least like 30%, ideally like 50%, I'd find it a lot more useful. But anyway, it looks like the Peasant Bows took a nice little pot shot at the Imperishable effigy, poisoning it somehow, but dishing out effectively no damage. An enemy lord drops out of the sky somewhere, Spirit Leech having obliterated him. Oh, actually, looks like he was still tagging the casket when the Spirit Leech got him. And his soul immediately, of course, sucked into the casket. In the meantime, Repanse herself has also closed the distance with one of our Shabti with Great Bow, only to get crushed in between 2 full units of Necropolis Knights, who take about 50% of her HP on the charge, and I think she's not going to get out of that one. Otherwise, another Skullstorm comes down on enemy range units, and the number of enemies is certainly dwindling. We have cut our way through droves of peasants, especially with our Twin Blade units, 206 kills on this one, for example, and are now just trying to catch and destroy the surviving elite enemies that remain. But they won't remain for much longer, as I do believe Repanse herself has at this point shattered, and the rest of the army will go with her. Only a unit of Battle Pilgrims remains, locked in battle with one of the Higher Titans, and this Higher Titan unfortunately didn't have the heal, as we only have enough healing to heal 5 units in this particular army. We could double up on Necrotects, but then we'd lose another unit, and I'm not so sure I want that for this army. The Higher Titans are tanky enough so that they can take a little bit of damage in fights, and it won't matter as much. I find it more worth it to use the healing on the Necropolis Knights instead. Anyway, brave or foolish of those Battle Pilgrims to continue attempting to go after the Higher Titan. It does kill them relatively slowly, but it's racking up the damage and kills here and there. It is still a very tanky, sort of tank plus utility kind of deal. It's got the two spells, it's got that Spirit Conduit, so it allows for additional spell mastery and power recharge for casters close by. I'm just taking a look at the resistances, which are pretty solid, and then of course those laser eyes, which I will never get tired of. Anyway, the Tomb Bark comes on in, hovering at roughly waist height for the Higher Titan. And now those Khemri beetles are going to come down on those poor Battle Pilgrims, and together with the units of Twin Blades, the last of the Pilgrims falls, and the battle is ours. A very, very nice fight. Ooh, another Banner of Swiftness. Khalida should already have Strider, right? I gotta double check. I assume that she does because she's got a Necroserpent mount, and all the Necroserpents have Strider, but, you know, there's a possibility that it was forgotten, so we'll double check. Otherwise, this is gonna go to our other Chariot Lord, so that he can also ride around fancily. Anyway, very, very nice fight against Repanse, though she proved no better than the nobility of Bretonnia, as she threw thousands upon thousands of peasants at us, who lost thousands upon thousands of lives. Otherwise, we got solid work out of Panet with his Skull Storms, 83,000 damage, 838 kills. Interesting that the The damage dealt is effectively a multiplier of the kills, like a, even multiplier, but anyway. We've got lots of great work out of the Golden Host of Mahrak, though they were mostly holding ground, but the Nehekara Warriors, both the Nehekara Warriors, 451 kills, 44,000 damage, 232 and 21, and did very well. As always, the Necropolis Knights did well as well, but, charging through mobs of peasant mobs is going to be an easy way to acquire a decent amount of kills and damage. 91,000. That's without the damage over time effect. Alrighty, and then the Silent Watchers did slightly better than the others, up to perhaps due to the icon of the Sacred Eye that we've given them, though I'm still disappointed that you can't give those to caskets, and what can you do? We're gonna have to heal up here because these armies are sticking still around, and we're going to do something about that, so bind souls, please. Alright, Great Incantation of Xar from Exiles of Nehek. I don't see why we'd care. Reichland and Fallow Hills. I don't even know what that faction is, and I just played Empire. Ally mission successful. Great, there's that Banner of Swiftness, and End of an Errant gives us research rate. Oh my. Well, this would have been really good early on to potentially farm, but oh well, what can you do? I guess we don't have enough armies to push on out here anyway, so not much we really could have done about it. Enemy killed in battle, while fails, ambusher discovered, dynasty researched. Yeah, it causes terror for all characters faction-wide is meh, but perfect vigor for all heroes is going to be really nice. Diplomatic relations with Tomb Kings I don't really care about. Armor plus 10 for all Legion units makes our already good Legion units even gooder. An unusual location in the buried Colossus of Geheb. What do we have here? Nurgle corruption. Ugh. Alrighty, Carnival of Nurgle. Chance for characters in this region to gain a trait associated with location. I would assume that this is some kind of Nurglite trait, and even if it's a good trait, I would say that we would immediately burn down any kind of chaos thing, so much as I'd hate to spend the money, gotta do it. Alright, there we go. Then, I guess we start from the top again. We've got Settra moving to... Okay, well, actually, let's find where Kugath is first. Agents of the Moon. Where's Kugath? Please don't tell me he's moving the other way again. No, he appears to be... Yeah, looks like he's going to make his last stand maybe at Blight River Falls, which does make sense. Yes, and Volki has moved southward. Ooh, he's approaching Bani al-Hashim Oasis, and we won't be able to reach it in time, unfortunately, by the looks of it. But that's just fine. Well, not fine, but you know what I mean. Anyway, I guess we will keep you as you are, but Defenders of the Great Plan, we should take a... mission. I guess Repanse is an easy one. Ooh, and we're... How close are we to the outpost? I'd really love to build some of those units. Alright, one more turn. There's definitely some we want there. Now, Panet, I would like you to break the siege. Real quick. See if you can't kill off Repanse out here and then move back towards it, but even if you can't, it should be fine. Go for Repanse. Should be auto-resolvable. Her army is effectively destroyed. This better not... horrifically damage us, though it probably will, because auto-resolve hates Tomb Kings. Yeah, alright, heal that up. Alright, there we go. Defenders of the Great Plan mission successful, and you're gonna head to the Ebonian Dunes and occupy the place with another auto-resolve. Hopefully they don't prevent us, hopefully they don't besiege us while we're here. I'm almost tempted to get out of the settlement just because of it. Yeah, it's fine. We'll get out of the settlement. You can channel, which actually doesn't do anything for us, but all good. We only got one level from all that? Come on, man. Alright, well, Sun-Scorched Bones, we still got to get that up and running. And the Necrotech to you. Let's see. I'm going to say increase mobility. We are traveling a fair bit. Yeah. Alright, Settra. Back to you, then. I guess you are going to... Okay, you don't need to transfer any units, and you can't reach Blackcap's camp immediately. I was going to say Entomb Beneath the Sands was probably not the case. We can maybe use Alcazar here to leech a little bit of XP, and we gotta transfer units. And transfer plagues, unfortunately, but that one we expected. Alrighty, so Alcazar... Wait, do we have any Tomb Prince capacity? No. Oh, we got another Bannerman, though. Huh. That's interesting. I might have a use for a second Bannerman as well. Also, what right did we just get up and running? Oh, the Great Incantation of Petra. Does that really help us? Not really, at least not here. Alright, well, either way. Settra, you are going to move towards... I don't know, it doesn't really matter what stance you're in, I guess. Towards Blackcap's camp? Actually, maybe it does matter what stance you're in. And go in March stance. Let me just see here. If King Thutep, you're going to transfer stuff. Obviously, all the chariots. And I guess the Tomb Bark's not the Casket of Souls and the Screaming Skull. Well, actually, maybe. Well, give it to Alcazar for now, but I'm not sure that he'll keep them. And give him the Tomb Guard as well. And frankly, we're probably just going to get rid of those spears. Yeah, this is probably too much at 17 out of 20 already, because there's some specific stuff that I wanted to give him. We have Prince Ratic here, and the Lich Priest. Okay, wait, we gotta figure out what these guys do. You give Bannerman, and then you give Advisor. Frenzy to the Lord. Hey, Army receives Plague, I know. And then you are a Cavalier, you're supposed to be on the Skeletal Steed. Alright, so you can join King Thutep's army. Like so. And I wonder whether it would be better to just grab several Bannermen, because Thutep has this once again. He has the melee attack plus 10 for embedded heroes, and I think that's a nice... Yeah, maybe. Maybe we'll use Ratek to move with Thutep. And then the others will all be Cavaliers. Okay, you can disband. Just because we have no purpose for you. And if you need to transfer some units, then you can transfer them. Anyway, the reason I wanted to do this right now was to get Settra all the way out here, I guess. And Alcazar, you're going to move into March Chance, you're going to follow. We can save some of Settra of his movement range and get a little bit of extra XP for Alcazar by heading to the Black Caps camp. Yeah, alright, and we do have a charioteer here. Yeah, alright, that's what we'll do. But anyway, we want to get the Necrotect capacity. So, Apprenticeship of Imhotep next. For the last couple of turns that we have the bonuses. And speaking of Necrotects, another Pertinacious one, Genius Architect, these are all fine and good. In fact, I do want them, but it's not what we're looking for right now. So just leave it alone. One day. Anyway, but you are going to need units. And I guess you're going to head southward to use those units, aren't you? So these are chariots. I wonder if we want more Tomb Barks in here, but anyway, we'll figure that out. For now, Thutep, assuming that you're keeping both of the Tomb Princes and the Lich Priest. A little bit on the fence about the Frenzy thing, but it should power up the... counteract some of the extremely low melee attack of this guy. Anyway, you're going southward. Hopefully you don't spread the plague to too many, but you need units from... this little fella. Now these two Necro Sphinxes, and ideally we would want War Sphinxes as well, which we can build one of. Would be nice to be able to build more. Frankly, you could build your own army. And Setep's army will be good to go soon, and alright, we'll figure this out. We'll have to do some recruitment. Hakor, you are proceeding to Bitter Sand Swamp. Is this raid? Yeah, okay, we're gonna have to either raid it or move into Entomb Beneath the Sands. Does it make any kind of difference? It appears not to, so we're at full HP, so we'll just move like this. And oh, look at that, little Og is here. Alright, free a little bit of money from you. Next up, Walkoff, you are going to attack the... Oh, that's solid. Alright, you know what? I will besiege them, give them the opportunity to fight us. We will declare war upon you immediately. Yes, okay, we'll do this.
No way!
Yes, way. Freaking Epic Jars. Then we will pop into Great Dynasty stance. We'll besiege Great Statue of Joff. Like so. And we'll build some siege equipment, but I'm 99.9% sure these guys will sally out. Huh, lots of rock lobbers there, too. Good for them. Anyway, Necrotech, you, my friend, have increased mobility now maxed out, meaning, I guess... Wait, we can buff the snakes by using Spring the Trap. It's a little bit, so might as well. Might as well go through it. There's other good stuff like We Are the Elite, and we'll get that going as well. Oh! Walkoff, were you next on the list in terms of, let's see, we did Hakor's banners, right? Yeah. I still can't believe the eye thing doesn't work on the caskets. I'm disappointed. Anyway, you, what do we want to do with your guys? Let's see what the banners have. We have Perfect Vigor. Huh, I wonder if the icon of the Sacred Eye can be given to Spokal Stalkers. We don't know. Alright, now let's get one of those, give it to Walkoff and see, because if it can, then that's what we'll do. But if it can't, we'll have to change that up a little bit. Icon of the Sacred Eye, just one for now. At the very least, it works on Ushabti with Great Bow, which will be very nice for the Ushabti army. Alright, so you... I can have the Sacred Eye, please. Like so. Alright, you besiege that. Speaking of Ushabti army, and just generally speaking Ushabti... Okay, also you... Fuck them, need to move to Marble Massif, and really need to deal with those rats ASAP. Hopefully you can find their armies. I see Spinetail here. Oh, that's a lot of Death Runners. Huh, that's actually a neat little stack. Ashen Triads and Death Runners. At least he's building some elite units. That's very good. That's what I like to see. I'm kind of contemplating just trading these territories to these guys and letting them have them instead of trading for these territories, because we want those Cathan units, especially their constructs. And they can't recruit them as yet, even though I'm sure they'd be willing to trade us the Faz Column and the Obelisk of Usak. And I know they're Nehekaran named, but I mean, these guys will be vassals, so it shouldn't matter. Anyway, and what I was getting at is this. King Agatep, you are going to trade everything that you have to Lamizaj, like so. And then we're going to delete you, because we need the army capacity. So disband you for now, or do we need to reset you? I think you're fine. We'll disband you and we'll use another lord to recruit. We do now have one extra capacity, although one of the lords will be recruiting temporarily for reasons that will be made clear in a second. You're gonna hit Cape Carpentaria here. King Lamizaj. Like so. Khalida, you are going to transfer to Lamizaj in just regular stance, I guess. Transfer to Lamizaj some stuff. Do we need the tomb barks with the Necropolis Knights? Maybe. Keep the tomb bark for now. I will think about it. Transfer the Chosen of the Gods, the Caskets of Souls, and the Screaming Skull catapults to him. And the rest of this, minus possibly the Tomb Prince, is fine, depending on whether we keep him in this army or not. Alright. There you go, Khalida. Your army is much smaller now, but it's still so strong that I think that won't matter much. We will... Are you freaking kidding me? You're gonna lose the tomb bark doing this? Are you insane? Why does the Auto-Resolve hate the Tomb Kings? It's psychotic. Okay, if you can move away, will that still happen? I just want to see. No. Really? Okay, fine, we'll just Auto-Resolve it like this. It's just absolute insanity. Occupy. And then you can head southward and start building piles and piles of Ushabti. I'm actually curious. Global recruitment, you can make Ushabti in 3 turns. Huh. That's actually, I think, the same speed that it would take to build them at Libaras. Maybe just use global recruitment, build them here. Why not? I like it. Alright, let's start with some regular Kopesh Ushabti. You will need Necrotects as well of the Genius Architect variety. In fact, you'll need at least one more, but maybe we'll wait until the tech is up and running. We can switch you to... Wait, that doesn't actually help because you're not using local recruitment, you're using global recruitment. You can lose the Nekesha Scorpion Legion because they're going to a specific army. And I assume that they'll be up and running again next turn. Oh, I guess it'll have to wait until 10 turns until we see them again, but whatever. Alright. Khalida, you need to book it on up here. Volk Marble retake Bani al Hashim Oasis, but fortunately we haven't invested in it, so we don't really care. We can upgrade Cape Carpentaria immediately, I guess. And do it, and then go into Worship of Construction Reduction. Alright. Arakash, okay, I'm going to deal with you in a bit. I have a few more things that we need to do before we deal with you. Apprentice Scout. You have to find other Cathans, assuming that the Albion Bowl has not been lost, and otherwise I'd like you to find Rakarth. There are faction Susi units we want all the way up here. Somtik, your work is almost complete. You just have to find Kugath. There he is. Alright, keep an eye on him, and ooh, he does have 2 Soul Grinders. Yeah, maybe he'll have an actually worthy... fight for us, and Settra has to be up here anyway to find Katep and then punch him until he's ready to confederate. Otherwise, we've got, let's see, where are the barrier idols? So Kakak Idol, he will be replaced by the Sokt's Needle. Sokt's Needle, once desecrated by the Greenskins, now stands renewed, its stone etched with intricate scorpion motifs, shimmering with a faint, eerie luminescence reminiscent of Sokt's dark, watchful eyes, embodying a renewed sentinel against the encroaching darkness. Wins a magic power reserve and income from all buildings faction-wide. Kakak Idol will be replaced by Idol of... or renamed... Idol of Sok. There we go. And we have, wait, Shrunken Head's Great Idol of Walup and Shrunken Head's Idol. will be now Joff's column. Once desecrated and crumbling under the Greenskin's neglect, the column now stands renewed, its stone visage of the god of war and death, and Joff restored to a resplendent grandeur, emanating an aura of protection over Nehekhara's borders. More Winds of Magic reserve capacity, a little bit of trade stuff, which is okay. We don't actually get that much money from trade right now, but hey, the more vassals we get, the more that should change. Now, Volkaz Roost. Alright, wait, maybe you could trade it right now. Trade. Where's Volkaz Roost? Volkaz Roost for Galbaraz, correct? Yes. Trade agreement. 9,000? Huh. Hey, you know what? Give us your money. There we go, that's much better. Now we have Volkaz Roost, which will immediately upgrade to tier 2, and then following it up with tier 3. Pretty much next turn immediately, and then building up the Volkaz Roost itself. Alright, looks good to me. We'll build other stuff here once we're ready. So, Shrunken Head Zeidel. Oh, I need to rename you. Yes. At least this way it's an easy way to keep track of which landmarks we actually have constructed and which ones we have not. And oh, wait, Volkaz Roost doesn't have an idol in it. Rude. Once again, why are you part of the barrier idols if you're not a barrier idol? Idol of Joff. Jazz? No, Joff. There we go. Alright. Spider God idol. You need to be upgraded so that we can build your idol. Idol of Sokth is completed, and these things are no longer necessary here. The growth buildings are similarly now get rid ofable, and we'll replace them with other stuff. Alright, so just the Spider God idol remains in terms of building up all of our little landmarks. Beautiful. At least we're getting some landmarks now. Anyway, I believe we have 2 other things to do, or 3 other things to do. Wait, 4 other things to do? Many other things to do. Alright, first of all, trade agreements. Now Laura Lauren is willing. Admittedly, once again, we do have to pick between them and the Corsairs of Spite, but we basically have to make the same decision here between Rakarth and the Sisters of Twilight, and I think we'll just pick Laura Lauren here.
Consider yourself
Why not?
lucky that we didn't send you to parley with the Dryads.
There you go. Who else do we have? The Corsairs of Spite are still willing to trade, huh? Interesting. I wasn't expecting that. Maybe just trade with them both, at least for now. It's free money. And they're very far away from vassalage for now. And Arguelon's still fairly willing to trade. I wish that we could declare war on somebody. How much money would we have? 7? Okay, no, that's not happening. Blood Guzzlers will die. Mahrak and Guardians of the Valley and Zandri will all die. Exiles of Nehek will be confederated, so that's all we can trade with for now, I guess. Oh well, what can you do? Alrighty, now the other things that we needed to do. So Intef, Psamtik, and the Keepers are fine, though I was tempted to get another Keeper to start getting this lowered. And we can build another Lich Priest should we desire it. Actually, you know what I think I'd like? Go to Wake another Tomb Prince. It's pretty cheap at 2.4k. Let's do that. And yeah, we don't have the text that'll make them at higher levels, but we already recruit them at like level 20, which is pretty solid. So yeah, so I would like this guy to have some chariot riding Tomb Princes. Tomb Prince? Charioteer. The infantryman is not what we're looking for, so yes, charioteer, and then we'll give you an actual chariot. Yeah, it'll make him fragile, but that's a second chariot lord, and these will be sort of the heavy chariots for his army. We could have in theory done the same thing with Settra, just gotten some really powerful Tomb Princes instead of this. I kind of like his army in its current form, and him having some Tomb Guard also feels appropriate, doesn't it? Just too bad there's no Tomb Guard chariots. Anyway, Rakash. So you, I believe, were going to be the... Is anything here buff Hyro Titans? It does not. I was wondering whether we should make you into the Hyro Titan and the Tomb Guard army. The only issue with that is that it would be a waste of your ability to upgrade pretty much everything in the roster. And considering there's no direct buffs for Hyro Titans, effectively you'd only be buffing Tomb Guard and potentially the Tomb Barks, which doesn't feel quite worth it. Now, you will want to trade the Flock of Jaff and these Necro Sphinxes to the other guy. We can't build those here either. It'll be a bit... Alright, fine. You know what? Let's move you to trade. At least the Necro Sphinxes to the Sphinx guy, and we can always come back and recruit. Alright, then the last thing is, assuming that these guys are moving down here, I want a temporary lord. It doesn't really matter who. Let's pick... Well, maybe it does matter who. Let's pick this guy with the free Tomb Swarm. Golden Age King. Oh, actually, maybe it would be better to pick a caster. I do like these guys with Resurgent Memories. This might be a decent option for the Hyro Titan army, though admittedly the Hyro Titans are so slow that the fast Tomb Guard are not a great option for them. But I'll pick you, and at least you'll have the ability to cast some stuff. Like, so we'll still go for Canopic Jar Hoarder, and... we could actually get 5th Gen Priest for a little bit of extra research. This is just an emergency sort of summoning anyway. Wait, 2 points in 5th Gen Priest. We wouldn't be able to get the passive and we wouldn't have Nerus, but we'd at least have Incantation of Cursed Blades. Yeah, maybe. Alright, and go this, and then 2 points here. Alright, good enough. And then you're just going to grab a bunch of just piles of skeleton spears in case the place gets attacked, because it effectively has no defense. The Shrine of the Mighty Flame at least has walls to rely upon, so there's that. Alright, I think that's all we need to do other than building buildings, so real quick. Okay, your buildings are going to be too expensive, so I'm going to leave them alone for now. Ash Crossing, you're kind of in the same position. I guess we could at least build a lone column here. And in theory, we want the Burial Pits and the Hidden Sanctum, but they don't matter until they're get up toable to tier 5, so they're not what I would call critical at this time. You want the Royal Burial Chamber, so we'll ignore you because it's too expensive for now. You're fine as you are, you're fine as you are, you will upgrade the Restored Tomb. And obviously we'll build up all of those afterwards, but it's not critical right now. You will want the upgrades to the Tower of Bone and the, well, the defenses, essentially. Yeah, they will be eventually replaced with better stuff, but that isn't, it's not right now. Fated Pyramidion. Public Order still needs well, we need additional Public Order here. Delete this, though. Alright. Anything else that we can build for, if not quite cheap, at the very least, for decently priced amounts? You're fine. Scarab City. Yes, let's build a refurbished workshop. And Bronze Gate until we're ready to take Obelisk of Usirian. Black Pyramid. Ah, you reached tier 5, meaning... I mean, we do want those Royal Burial Chambers, but at the same time, you're able to build both the Burial Pits and the Hidden Sanctum, or the Hyro Titan Bibliotheca. Hierophant Bibliotheca? Whatever the building is called. Hierophant's Bibliotheca, yes. Build those. And then the growth is no longer necessary here, so you can replace that. Public Order is at least fine for now, but yeah, a lot of this is from characters. We'll fix it eventually. We could upgrade you because we have to look at you every turn, but eventually we'll do that eventually. Alright, we'll need defenses here. Again, temporarily. While we are in a war with these guys. And I guess the same thing is actually true of this place as well, so... Upgrade the walls, build walls, while they will eventually be deleted. Oh, we're out of money. Alright, well, I guess we'll wait then. Get at the stars, collect money for a little bit. Oh wow, you make 950, pretty good. While we do intend to trade you the Cathans, it's still good to make use of at least some of the cash. And then I'm still not sure about these mountains, but for now at least we'll probably build some stuff once we have money. For now, skip commandment available. Let's go for the Worship of Construction Reduction and then start collecting the income here as well. Nice. And for Top Knots, I believe... Oh, right. Okay, so we need to cancel something or get an agreement because we need to build stuff there. It's critical that we do so right now, in fact. Non-aggression pact. Don't care about any of these, unfortunately. Defensive alliances, yeah, nobody that we care about doing that with. Alright, fine, I guess we need to cancel something. It's critical because we want to make use of that to vassalize Mr. Eltharion. Alright, delete the defenses, I guess, at the Area of Death, which is the least likely to get attacked by anybody. Frankly, I'm not super... Probably not super necessary at Zelebzel either. A single stack won't be able to take it, so delete the sandstone walls here as well. Alright, then we will go up here to Fort Topknots and just build 2 military buildings to make the place worth a little bit more to Altharian. Now, Altharian, Fort Topknots, 85. Not quite there yet, but getting there. Hopefully we'll be able to do that, but if not, we'll have to wait until it's tier 4 and then trade it to him for the vassalization. That's the plan anyway. Now here we can now afford the desert lookout, and we could build the pyramidions as well. They're gonna be needed here. Ooh, spices, yes. Alright, there we go. Good enough. Oh, wait, no, we'll wait until next turn to upgrade you. Alright, screw it. Let's just end the turn. Alright, there we go. They will indeed sally out, and no, the Icon of the Sacred Eye does not work on the Sepulchral Stalkers either. Wow, so basically you can only use this on... I mean, yes, you can put it on Skeleton Archers, but it's just generally a waste to put anything on Skeleton Archers, because they're terrible, and their range is like... I mean, they're basically Empire Archers, but anyway, well, they're a little better. Nothing's that bad. But anyway, yeah, so if we can't use these here... You can't even put this on Skeleton Horse Archers game? Really? What are you doing? Alright, well, we'll just have to figure out what else we can put in this army that would make a decent amount of sense. Maybe we'll just buff up the piles of Tomb Guard with Sundering damage, because these guys already have a contact effect, and I'm not willing to replace poison. We can make them faster, but they're already freaking fast. We could give these guys Sundering attacks, but they, well, make their missiles a little bit more effective, give them a little bit more armor, make them a little bit tankier as well. But we won't be able to get 6 because we need to keep the Walatz's order on King Wakaf. Why can't this go on the Skeleton Horse Archers? That's ridiculous. It's not going to make them stronger. Well, I mean, it will make them stronger, but it's not going to make them strong straight up. Anyway, this should be a fun fight, go. Alrighty, curse them all with arrows and poison shotgun blasts. Here we go. At this point, I think Wakaf has fought the lizardmen more than he has fought the orcs, but he's faced off against the orcs a couple of times, and I think that's more than enough experience for him in order to deal with this imbecilic foe. He's up to 51 move speed, pretty good. I think we can use items to get him higher in move speed, but I don't know. Maybe it might be better to just make him a stronger fighter. We could also give him that mortuary cult weapon that gives him the hunger. Plus regeneration. We can certainly make him a pretty monstrous duelist here. He is the premier duelist of our faction here after all. Well, not counting Khalida. At the very least, not counting legendary lords. Settra can do it all. Well, admittedly, Khalida can kind of do it all as well, but anyway. Just in terms of a duelist-specific ye lords, I would say. I digress, though. The battle is joined. Piles of boar boys are moving in towards the fight, though they will never catch the units of skeleton horse archers, as the boars are far too slow to do so. We will get more shotgun blasts from the Sepulchral Stalkers into them. And if they should choose to charge our Sepulchral Stalkers, we know from past experience with both Boar Boys and Empire Knights and other such cav, now that the Sepulchral Stalkers' halberds will tear them to shreds. We summon a unit of skeleton warriors on top of the pile of biggins and black orcs just to distract them, while the rest of the battle is joined. And man, that is a lot of orcs, I gotta admit. Our 5 units of Tomb Guard, with of course the Tomb Bark supporting them, are in the center, but the Tomb Bark is taking lots and lots of damage as all of the enemy range units continue firing upon it. Certainly a possibly a good reason to get this thing that armor sundering and the armor itself banner. And these things do have a tendency to really get focused down, and oh lord, all of the enemy range units have brought it down to about 30% of its HP. On the right side, over in the back line, are skeleton horses, and these are of course the range units, so they're terrible in melee, and they're so fragile, but not so fragile that they can't take out some rock lobber crew. And there we go. They immediately go through 3 or 4 of the enemy units of rock lobbers and are moving in to head towards the last. Oh wow, getting plenty of air on the little gobs crewing them. I'm actually surprised considering this is a light cav archer unit, but solid. There we go. At least those guys will not be firing into our main blob of infantry. Speaking of the main blob of infantry, the enemy cavalry is pretty much destroyed, so that's where the sort of last aspects of this battle will continue. The bounce power has shifted to about 70% in our favor. Looks like another unit of boar boys getting obliterated by those sepulchral stalkers. But certainly our Tomb Guard are fighting very much surrounded at this point. Jeff's incantation of Cursed Blades will certainly help them dish out additional damage with that extra bleed, and now that we've destroyed the enemy cavalry, we've been able to peel away a couple of units of Sepulchral Stalkers to help in the melee, whether it be by laying into the enemy with halberds or shooting into the back of the blob with those shotgun blasts. 210 missile strength, pretty solid. Alright, there we go. Probably should have had you attack the Orc Biggins here, but by the looks of it, it won't matter all that much for too much longer as the bounce power shifts to about 85-90% in our favor. One last wah from the enemy. A desperate attempt to keep their Biggins and Black Orcs fighting. Looks like a unit of summoned skeletons went away, and thus we get the Realm of Souls activation to heal ourselves up. Yeah, that's why I do wish that we had a little bit more room in the armies to put a couple of mages in every single one. Well, once we have capacity for a couple of mages. Because then we could get the additional unit summons in every single army and at least have the possibility of activating those Realms of Souls. Though we still haven't managed to summon Ushabti a single time. Hopefully we'll get there. I suppose it does mean that we've never done so terribly that we've suffered such mass casualties that we've needed to get to the Realm of Souls. Third level activation, but nonetheless. Free Ushabti is free Ushabti, and I'd love to see it. One playing against the Tomb Kings as the enemy, they're summoning Ushabti in your face pretty much constantly. Anyway, looks like one of the last Black Orcs that was still fighting and gets cut down by the Grand Protectors here. And with the Black Orcs fleeing, the rest of the Orcs do so as well, signaling the end of the Leafcutters tribe. Alright, there we go. Still salty about this. Very, very nice fight against the Orcs. They certainly overran the Undying Guard and the other units of Tomb Guard, but they couldn't really achieve too much with it. The units on the flanks, the Undying Guard and the Guards of Ra, both got the most kills and damage, unsurprisingly, as they were the most surrounded, compared to the ones that are sort of sandwiched between them. Otherwise, we got good work out of the Walkoff's Hunters. And for the snakes, what do we have here? 43,000 damage for these solid stone snakes. Oh, you two are a name. Maybe I'll give you a name right now. I mean, I guess we'll auto-resolve what remains here. There isn't much, so we're probably free to take the cash. Admittedly, it's not much cash, but it'll be at least one turn of Endless March. Actually, it won't, will it? It'll be nothing. That's still money. Alright, Supervisor for Settra. Spent multiple turns in March. Wow, that took a long time. It's turn 76. Come on, man. Summon Lost Bani El Hashim Oasis. That's where Volkmar moved, but Khalid's moving to intercept. And, I do wonder where you'll go from here. Let's go close to Libaras Road, see if you proceed this way. We could try an ambush stance, but I'd rather him stay here if possible. I don't think he will, but we'll find out. On the other hand, by virtue of being in March stance, and by virtue of the fact that we are down significantly in terms of the units in this army, maybe they will attack us. We'll see. Alright, there's that Necrotect in here, recruit rank capacity. We will continue in that manner, however, get another Necrotect capacity and upgrade rank. We have 4 turns left? 3 turns left of Lizard Sacrifice. Alright, definitely want to make use of it. Lich Priest, wait, no, it was Necrotect, Intelligent. No, that's not what I wanted. Recruit. And delete. And wait, now that we have extra Necrotect capacity, I guess we could pop a Necrotect into an army. You, Lama's Ashes, are certainly going to need a couple of these types, Genius Architect, so let's get you another one. There we go. It's, the extra level isn't going to make too much of a difference, I'd wager. And as to whether we keep you guys on chariots, that will remain to be seen. I'm 99% sure you'll be on foot, but we shall see with that as well. Huh, you know, let's quickly build a Shabti building here. Oh, I guess I should have... I'll just build it here for now. Alright, I don't know if we'll get use out of it here, but the guy needs his army. Anyway, Settra. Starting with you. Hello. Blood Guzzler's full stack. Huh. Well, we were going to attack them anyway, and Kugath's on the approach, so I'm to stay near him. How are we here for... the other result's probably going to screw us over anyway, but nonetheless, you are going to besiege at King Alcazar in Grey Dynasty stance. Like so. And, the ogres won't help us. Wait, why are they moving here? Oh, they're not actually at war. Interesting. Declare war on Kugath. Join war against Poxmakers. Minus 30, and then why were you moving here? Well, you're gonna die now anyway, but, Alright, so Settra, you're gonna pop into Dynasty stance. You're gonna move right here. We'll use you to reinforce against the... Oh, hello. We've got a... The Redhorn tribe actually managed to take a settlement. Good for them. We'll do this. Auto-resolve, I assume, will not kill off anybody. Actually, it will. It'll kill off a ludicrous number of Tomb Guard. I was thinking that with 2 armies there, that wouldn't be the case, but no. Auto-resolve still absolutely despises us. Whatever. You are at war with the Redhorn tribe. We will talk to them. And we will join... No, he can't. Alright. I just wanted a little bit of free cash, but I guess we'll just have to straight up attack then. Yeah, you sure about that, bud? Declare war. Like so, and... Ooh, wait, did we... Okay, wait, let's do this real quick. Do we need to fight this? On the one hand, we haven't fought ogres. On the other hand, this army is garbage, and we've got much more threatening units here at the Tree of Beards, so I think we'll just auto-resolve you. Assuming that the auto-resolve will let us do it. Which it will? Just barely by the looks of it, auto-resolve. Alright, and once again, huge amounts of damage to everybody, and we'll take the money because there's not much we can do about it. Hey, another Trickster Shard, that's a nice find at least. Now, Settra, you don't need to proceed to the Tree of Beards, you're gonna loop this way. Start moving towards Kugath. How much XP did you get from that? Not up to level 15, but we're getting there. And of course you need your actual army, and these guys will probably be side-graded to... halberds. Could use another Screaming Skull Catapult here in theory. In practice, we might want more Tomb Barks and those... Wait, did I not get a Charioteer Lord for you, or Hero for you? Yeah, you go in there. We don't have another Charioteer available, do we? Another Loyal Guardian, another Bannerman. Well, I was tempted by the other Bannerman for King Thotep's army, so maybe we just wake another Tomb Prince, like so. And speaking of Thotep, you are going to go down... I mean, I guess you're meeting with this guy, so you're going to go south this way. We'll go for the Bannerman right here. Like so. And you don't really care about milling these guys because they're whatever. We do want the Nehekaran Ingenuity guys as well. Actually, we want these for several armies, but King Setep, your army is actually getting close to being ready to go. So, you're going to get this Necrotech with the Nehekaran Ingenuity, because you're going to be the anti-leadership army, discourage on pretty much everybody that we can get. You will also need a Death Priest. So we have Wise and we have Mortuary Cultist. Well, this guy's a Mortuary Cult guy, so let's go for Mortuary Cult guy. Alright, and then the both of you... Oh. I summoned a new guy and I didn't do the Canopic Jar Hoarder, did I? Alright, let's at least do Keeper of Lore, and then Disciple of Assyrian, because everybody gets that. And then we'll deal with the other points later. I just want to make sure that everybody who can is collecting those Canopic Jars, whereas other stuff isn't going to be as important. At least not this turn. Prince, whatever your name is, Canopic Jar Hoarder, and then the new guy that we got in here is also of the same type, right? Tomb Prince, Canopic Jar Hoarder. There we go. Settra doesn't have any new guys, right? No, he doesn't. Alright, I think that's all we needed to do there. Settra, you can... Why didn't I move you further? Oh, in case this guy gets attacked. I mean, we probably could keep moving you further. Kugath can't reach us anyway. I wonder if these guys will attempt it. Well, good luck to them if they do. Panat, you... Ooh, wait. There was a little army. Oh, you had to move frickin' southward and we can't reach you. Alright, go here. I'm going to assume that if we can't reach them, they can't reach us. Go right here. And hopefully they'll come down to Ebonian Dunes, though frankly, actually it has a better defensive garrison. We can't leave them here, so we're just gonna have to move forward towards them and see what they do. All the way at the edge of the desert, and oh, have we gotten vision of the 9th library? There is a book up there as well. Oh, whatever. Hakor. Oh, actually, before I forget, you, King Wakov. There's 2 things we want to do with you. Well, first of all, we'll grab the Great Statue of Joff, but since this is useless to you, auto-resolve, obviously. Like so, and occupy. Alright, these guys are not destroyed because they had a minor little army right here, and they're raiding these guys, and I'm probably going to move towards the Monument of Eternal Death. I'm going to hope that what they have is garbage and that they can't do anything with it. You keep building trash, skeleton spears, and you, Wakov, lose that icon of the Sacred Eye. Alright, so you have to keep your Wallops order. I like the Tomb Fleet Taskmaster, but it's not the most critical. If we grab 5 of the Sundering Armor, we could do that. We could make these guys tankier. I guess we do that, and then we put the Banner of Eternal Flame on the All Bark No Bite. Oh wait, but then we'd only have room for 4 anyway. But yeah, what are you gonna do? And the other stuff I don't think is going to be as worth it. I mean, we could do a Lot's Border on the fast-moving horsemen. This should really apply to horsemen. It's silly that it doesn't. Frenzy for Assigned Lord. You already have Frenzy via something, right? You have Brass Cleaver, which I'm actually going to replace with something. Oh, and we wouldn't want to replace the Wallots Border because you need the additional speed to, you know, get into your duels. Alright, fine. I guess we'll then do 4... of this kind, Emblem of Withering. Would have been nice to make it 5, but I think we're gonna get more mileage out of having the Banner of Eternal Flame rather than 1 more. So, banners. Emblem of Withering, 1, 2, 3, 4. I really wish that you could do as many as you wanted and one like it just, you know, type a number and anyway. Emblem of Withering. Thank you. And then when we use are gonna have 1, 2, 3, and that to bid farewell to the Tomb Fleet Taskmaster here, but it is what it is. You also leveled. Twice, in fact. That's nice. You currently have Dune Rider, but you don't have Unfading Memory for your Tomb Guard, and I think that's it, right? Wait, Blessing of the Asp. Oh, actually does apply to the skeleton horses. Give them a little bit of extra missile resistance and such. And that's all you got. Alright. That looks good to me. What about you two? Might as well level them while we're here. You have moved through Master Builder. You were going through Spring the Trap. Alright, fine. Keep buffing up those snakes. And then you have 2 points. We have Keeper of Lore, which was the important thing. We could grab Onslaught or Healing, additional healing. I feel like we should at least put 1 point in Usek's Incantation of Desiccation. I don't see us using it, mostly because we don't have the, you know, extra mana to do so. But anyway, let's go through Onslaught for now. Yeah, definitely. Let's go through Onslaught. Alrighty, that's Panet. Wait, that wasn't Panet. That was Wakov. Hakor, are you able to reach Bitter Sand Swamp? By the looks of it, you are not. So just proceed towards it. We'll be trading it to the lizards eventually. I assume Og will move back towards it now that we're at war as well. Wakov is fine. Rakash needs to move. Wait, Mortis Road is still part of the main territory. Alright, let's keep going this way. And then you two will join this guy. Alright. The Scorpion King. It looks like the rats ran away from you. You can stay in March Stance. I know that it's a major debuff, but I really don't think that the enemy is going to be able to do anything about it. Huh. What the heck? Oh, I guess they underway stanced towards us here. Alright, well, good for them. And they have the opportunity to attack us or possibly even ambush us. Dangerous for the Screaming Skull catapults, if nothing else. Give them a shot. A chance to survive. Anyway, Scout still needs to move. And I believe that's the last thing that we need to do right now. So go through the Middle Sea, please. And I believe we're good to go to build buildings and end the turn and see who, if anyone, will attack us this turn. We did the recruiting. At least the recruiting that we can do right now. You are just waiting for heroes, but otherwise your army is complete. Oh, we could do a little bit of, alright, I was going to do a little round of naming, so why not do that? So, Panet, what do you have? You have Imperishable Effigy, the other Hierro Titan has not been named. Let's go for Scales of Eternity. Eternity. And like, so we have 2 Nehekara warriors, like regular Nehekara warriors here. Let's go... spooky skeletons here. Alright, and then the other one... Panet... well, actually that name is specific to a specific army. Well, actually one of the armies, but let us do... Where is you? Hakor, you have killed a lot of lizards. We have Corsand Corsairs and Dead Ark Corsairs, but we haven't named the Hawk Legion, so let's name a couple of you now. Now you can be super speedy skeletons, which makes sense, because 63 move speed. Pretty crazy on these guys already. And then you can be lizard liquidators, like so. Alrighty, and what did I do with the... Yeah, okay. Just had to double check that we had the banners up and running. Alright, that looks good to me. Did I name the Tomb Bark in your army? No, I did not. Alright, let's go with Bark to the Bone. Actually, while we're speaking of Tomb Barks, did I name the Tomb Bark or Barks in your army? Yes, I did. Well, rather, I did not. So you can be all bones on deck. Like so. Alrighty. And I guess we could wait. Wait, you do have a couple of additional Necropolis Knights, but maybe Khalida should probably get some Necropolis Knights names, or just names in general. Alright, let's go. Spokal Stalkers. You can be the Black Mambas. You can be High Queen's Venom. And you can be Sandstone Serpents. Alrighty, and then we have 2 unnamed Necropolis Knights here, alright? So, let's go for Riders of Kugath. And you can be Fangs of the Queen. Alright, that's enough of that. Let's end the turn and do some fighting. Wait, no. Oh, wait, I got a building. Okay. It'll be quick. Nobody panic. Alright, you're good, or at least I'm not upgrading you right now. We should start from the bottom because there was some stuff there. Ooh, yes, definitely the Eternal Sentinels upgrade, though. That's capacity for everything, including Bone Giants, which we were really looking to build. In fact, we want to do the same thing here. Not the Higher Defense Bibliotheca because it's stupidly expensive, but this. You could do money. Your public order here is fine, but it's mostly from characters. Probably better to just build a burial chamber here. You know, we'll wait. It's super expensive. Ah, okay, this place. Yes, definitely want to build some stuff. So, Spider God Idol. Definitely. Construction cost reduction for all buildings. Maybe I should have actually prioritized you, but it's too late. And, oh. Didn't we have a thing? Oh, we had one more turn. We're going to lose the -1 construction time for all buildings here. Well, it's good that we built all the landmarks while we had that, admittedly. So, not too bad. You can also build, I guess, well, actually, here we'll want a treasure tomb. And then here, I guess we'll want the Faded Pyramidion, I think. Anyway, Spider God Idol, Obelisk of Construction Reduction. After its reclamation and meticulous reconstruction, the once desecrated obelisk now stands proudly adorned with intricate carvings depicting Construction Reduction's majestic hawk-headed form, its eyes gleaming with renewed vigor, casting a watchful gaze across the land, reinstating a sense of divine safeguarding over the realm. So, rename Idol of Construction Reduction. There we go. Alright, perfection. And we can't build anything else here. Alright, anything critical. You will want to be upgraded to tier 5 eventually, but right now we cannot. This stuff is fine. Great Statue of Joff. We won't need the Vault Guards here because we don't have corruption, so we'll demolish this stuff, and we'll rebuild it with other stuff. You can keep collecting the income, whatever. Canal of Abundance is fine, this place is fine. Alright, the new places. Alright, so Karagarud, definitely go for the Mausoleum. And then, again, not sure whether we're keeping us, so we'll keep you. Ah, yes, this. Fort Top Knots, how much is it worth to you now? 180, perfect. Vassal, give us your money while you're at it. Wait, They hold White Skull's camp. Out of curiosity, you're not going to give us... Nah, you're not. Alright, fine. 4 top knots. And anything we want to do with this? Oh, these guys won't like that you're going to abandon them, but whatever. There you go. Hey, there we go. Tharian is now our vassal. And you know what? We might as well build the outpost here in not Iron Pigsty, but in Gorgazan, I think. Less likely to be destroyed. And Agents of the Moon, I think we'll just do it. You are now able to build the war drums. So yeah, let's build it at the Obelisk of Usak. And then Defenders, we can upgrade you. Expensive, but all good. Actually, speaking of, I would like to see... Are you able to... You are able to. Ooh, okay. Let's go for the Basti of Solar Engines. I was going to make a Petra army, so that's fire and the sun, and we'll definitely want the Basties with solar engines for that. Beautiful. We'll have to have a specific lord type for it. Oh, that might actually mean we need to replace your army, or deliver these to another army. Yeah, alright, we'll deal with it. Alright, well that was the main thing I wanted out of that. We got a little bit more building to be building. Alright, let's build some of the expensive ones, because I'm too lazy to search for the others. Let's do the Royal Burial Chamber. Let's do the Royal... Okay, we already built it here. I've been foregoing building these, but now we can just build these everywhere. Canopic Jars and construction cost reduction. Pretty valuable after all. Even if it isn't a crazy amount, but every little bit counts for the Tomb Kings. It all adds up over time. Do we want to maybe build a Faded Pyramidion here, though? I think we do. Faded Pyramidion. Faded Pyramidion. Alright, any other tier 4 settlements? Yes, you. And go for the Royal Burial Chamber. And technically you would leave Barras. Oh, we could build a Royal Menagerie, but it's probably going to take so long for you to get up here. But, build it anyway. And then we can actually get rid of the... Well, nah, this place will probably need it to defend itself, so just leave it as it is. Alright, I think we're out of money for Royal Burial Chambers, so we'll ignore it for now. Let us build the Cinnabar Mining Pit and the Marble Quarry. Even if we trade these all to the Cathians, I would like for them to have access to actual trade goods. And it might enable us to get trade with another faction going. And for now, we are ready to end the turn. Alrighty, would you looky here? Mr. Kugath has moved towards us, and we are certainly not at full HP, so this should be a pretty solid fight for us. Ambush foiled for Panat. Annoying, but actually irrelevant. Alright, hero capacity +1 for Necrotects, and we got one more turn remaining of the Lizard Sacrifice, so we are going to make use of it. You can then go for additional capacity and levels for... I'm going to say the Lich Priests now. Wait, no, we have more for Necrotects? Let's do more Necrotects. We need them everywhere. And the Lich Priest's already level fairly decently well. Hey, we got another Hekaran Ingenuity. Alright, well, that's going to pop into your army, but otherwise, your army is more or less good to go. So, let's do... I mean, we'll do one Death Priest for now. I might do a second if... Oh, you were supposed to get a Tomb Bark, and I never built it for you, did I? I was going to take 3 turns to frickin' build it. It'd be faster to just grab it from this guy. Alright, fine. You. Go here. Increase mobility. You. Go here. For the Obelisk of Khemri, and this is going to take an extra turn for you, but it's not the biggest of deals, I think. Transfer the Tomb Bark. It's better to waste 1 turn rather than 3, alright? Alrighty, and then we'll get the other Hekaran Ingenuity guy for more Blood Roar. Beautiful. That's going to be a significant amount of anti-leadership that we have here. Now, probably could have used the turn to build some stuff with King Rakash instead, but also not the biggest of deals. Alright, good to go. We have Tomb Princes, another Charioteer. Let's wake another one. Yes, alrighty, so we'll go for +1 capacity for Tomb Princes. Starting to get expensive, but what can you do? Alright, you're going to go down here to grab Sphinxes and Carrion, as that's going to be your army type. And then the other Charioteer will go into King Alcazar's army. We need to heal up a little bit more, but yeah, you can go here. You're not ooh. Well, even on March chance, I feel like you probably won't catch Kugath. Yeah, he'll move away from both you and Settra, I'd wager. Just wondering whether we could leech the XP. Actually, if he survives, you know what, maybe it's worth it. If he survives, we'll actually be able to... get the defeat rate on 2 lords, which is a faction-wide reduction in plagues, which we're kind of dealing with a lot right now. So yeah, charioteer for King Alcazar, since he likes chariots so much. And you should actually be on a chariot. Alrighty, and then before I forget you, let's just move you to kill Vincent Everstone. Vincent? Okay, sure. And kill, please. I think so. It's better not horrifically damage our army. Was that Tombbark always that damaged? Take Endless March. For obvious reasons. Hey, and more campaign movement range, isn't it beautiful? You will proceed up northward. You've defeated Repanse, and I don't imagine her armies are going to be too strong with what remains. Yeah, unsurprisingly, this guy's moved into our territory, so we're going to have to give chase. He'll probably attack. Oh, hopefully he doesn't succeed, but we'll see. Well, actually, what do we have here in terms of defenses? Huh. We could pop the... could pop this, right? Maybe it's time. Actually, it won't hurt him because he'll be immune to attrition anyway. So it does nothing. Yeah, I remember last time I played Tomb Kings that the enemies just go into raiding stance and it makes it useless anyway, so the heck's the point? Yeah, either way, we'll deal with it. Unless this does something else for us. Gives us the Sand Veil ability, which is kind of helpful, I guess. Ambush success chance, ambush defense chance. That will probably not help. Just do it. We'll never use it again, will we? Maybe it'll do something. And yeah, you can see that because he's in raiding stance, he's immune to sandstorm attrition, which I find kind of silly. It's a magical sandstorm, and raiding the territory isn't going to make you immune to the sandstorm. It's crippling your army, but anyway. Now let's level up and let's get Kugath. And probably those beastmen afterwards as well. Alrighty, so Settra, you've got Conqueror now. Maybe we'll grab Hard to Hit, make you a little bit tankier. And what about these guys? Tomb Prince. You got 2 points on you. You got Esteemed Combatant, which was the important thing. I guess we'll head towards Desert Strike. You are a Charioteer. Could use the extra charge, I guess. Maybe extra Wound Maker. A little bit of extra damage that way. Your charge is already probably on the point of diminishing returns. Earthing and Sekhmet's Skullstorm, and then lastly the Necrotect. You will have... I got 3 points on you. Yeah, we could buff up the kitties. Or we could go through We Are the Elite for missile resistance for the entire army. That's probably more valuable here, especially since we're about to fight or take a lot of damage from missile fire, 2 Soul Grinders, and Kugath himself after all. Alright, let's see if Kugath runs. I expect that he will, but who knows. Yeah, he'll run. That's all good. And now we won't be able to leech that XP, but he also won't be able to get away, so that's fine, I guess. Yeah, oh well. Kill. And Pyrrhic Victory. Alright, well, let's see about that. Should be a good time. We've got Fecundity, which is going to be annoying as they will heal. He's got plenty of mana as well, though, to be fair. So do we. Go. Settra dominates all indeed. Here we go, and the demonic will prove no different as Settra moves towards facing off against Kugath. We try to charge into some Exalted Plague Bearers of Nurgle with the Khemri Drift and the other units of chariots, but unfortunately it looks like they're able to stop them in their tracks. Fortunately, though, we have the Bone Boat here with, well, getting ready to support, and one of the Tomb Prince, well, the Tomb Prince now in this army is moving in to help. Settra moves forward. We're going to pop off a quick Skullstorm and a Wrath of Petra, but we don't really care about the little guys, whether it be the Plague Bearers or even the Plague Toads. Frankly, everybody's little compared to Settra, in one way or another. Slanashi giggle. But anyway, well, anyway, the Soul Grinder is our target, mostly to stop them firing away at our Tomb Guard, which are already taking a fair bit of damage. The enemy has also moved a Plague Ridden to lead a pile of Plague Drones of Nurgle towards us. Actually, these are Rotflies and the Plague Drones are up here. But my point is, they have landed and are now attempting to, well, dish out as much damage as they can to whatever fragile units they can. By the looks of it, the Necrotect on chariots, and I think out here it was the Mage as well. Alright, well, Settra is going to begin fighting the, or bouncing between the two units of enemy Soul Grinder, but the Sphinx of Usek has killed off a single unit, well, 4, well, you know what I mean, a unit of Beasts of Nurgle, and is now ready to move towards these Soul Grinders as well. There we go, now wow, the Soul Grinder looks pretty tiny compared to that Sphinx. I do imagine the duel will last a while, but the Sphinx does have magical damage and will lower the enemy melee defenses with Cripple. A fun little fact for those unfamiliar with the lore, with regards to all of these Sphinxes and all of the constructs, typically the constructs of the Tomb Kings are moved or mobile and by virtue of either the souls of their warriors being bound to them, or perhaps like the Tomb Scorpions and such, the Lich Priests being interred within them. The sort of mummies inside them. The Scorpions are kind of like dreadnoughts, frankly. I like to call them Tomb King dreadnoughts. But anyway, the Necro-Sphinxes, however, are an exception to this. They move by themselves. They're just creepy like that. They're sort of moving with the power of the underworld gods of the Nehekarns, which is pretty neat. And also why they're kind of evil and menacing. But anyway, the balance of power is at about 70% in our favor, but we've definitely got a fight ahead of us. The Plague Bearers are doing a pretty good job resisting the chariots, which have repeatedly cycle charged, but due to the sort of hilly formation here with the enemy standing on top of the hill, we really don't have a good time dealing with these Plague Bearers down here. On the right side, the Sphinx of Usek has nearly taken about 60% HP off of one Soul Grinder, and the other one is being pinned in place by the line of Petra. On the not-so-good side, we have been hit repeatedly with various abilities on our Tomb Guard, and most of them are down to about half of their HP now. Granted, they didn't start with their full HP, but they're now at half of the HP they started with, which is a pretty significant loss. And we do have to be careful about losing those. Now that said, and now that we have Sphinxes distracting the other Soul Grinders, Settra has moved by himself towards Kugath and is getting ready for those horses of his to devour Kugath's Nurglings, his throne, and the demon itself. Maybe this will allow Settra to get a few hits in with his halberd at the Nurglings around him, but otherwise, the horses will do the work. Kugath, let's see if you can out-heal with your massive regeneration the amount of damage Settra does. As we've seen, he may be a chariot lord, but he can certainly dish out the melee damage nonetheless. Either way, though, this is going to be a heck of a long duel. In some ways, Kugath can be considered one of the, well, before Tamarkan, he was the best, probably, fighting lord in the game. And not so much because he's a devastating fighter, but because he has such a huge HP pool and so much healing that he could outlast most other foes. You know, in an equal footing in a vacuum sort of deal, if they were both max level and capabilities and such. Now that Tamarkan's obnoxiousness has joined the fray, Tamarkan's probably better at that sort of thing. Anyway, looks like the Soul Grinders are nearly out, though. Ooh, look at that. Mal Protectors are down to 10% of their HP. Imperishable Guard are close to perishing with 10% of their HP remaining as well. Ouchies. The Bilious Thunderguff is also in the fight with Sekhmetra, though interestingly enough, it looks like even though the regular War Sphinxes are an anti-infantry unit, it's facing off against this anti-single entity giant very, very well, I gotta say. Certainly holding its own and in fact winning. Obviously not killing it as fast as a Necro-Sphinx would, but nonetheless. Speaking of the Necro-Sphinx, with one Soul Grinder defeated, the Sphinx of Usek heads towards the second and delivers the finishing blow with those massive arm blades. Otherwise, it looks like the balance of power has shifted fully in our favor. Settra remains in combat with Mr. Kugath, as he's been for a while, but Settra himself has lost about 30% of his HP, and Kugath has lost maybe 40%. That said, Settra does have a potion of healing available to him, and will soon be at full HP, or as I don't think Kugath's is going to rise all that much ever again. Slaneshi giggle. Sad Slaneshi giggle, but anyway. Anyway, I do believe the battle is pretty much ours. We're going to move towards Settra with our Tomb Guard, which were devastatingly damaged here. Look at that. Frankly, a lot of our units in our army are pretty badly beat up. Huh. Well, good job to Kugath. I suppose that's why he was willing to move towards Settra and stick around rather than run away. with his army, and he had a pretty decent stack with those 2 Soul Grinders and all the other stuff in here. Exalted Plague Bearers, Plague Drones, Bilious Thunderguff, and decent amount of elites. Not enough, mind you, but decent. Just too bad we won't be able to double up on his defeat rate. Anyway, Settra is clearly the winner here. Kugath has dropped to about 20% of his HP. We're going to move Settra away briefly to pop off a reanimate on everybody to heal them up and move the Sphinx of Usakfin. I think nobody's in any doubt that Settra, now nearly at full HP, will have obliterated Kugath in time. But we've seen the animations of them whacking away at each other for enough to know who the winner was. There we go with that. Kugath is defeated, and with him having only 1 settlement to his name, I do believe we won't be seeing him again. Ooh, alrighty, there we go. Certainly was a toughie. A decisive victory, or was it a close victory? As all of our ranks of Tomb Guard took a ton of damage to the various, I don't know, the Rot, Glorious Rot, and various other effects, plus of course the bombardment from the enemy range units, generally the mixing of all those poisons and contact effects that the enemy had available to them, and was pretty fun. The Sphinx of Usek came really handy. Settra himself got 98 kills only, but 57,000 damage as he was distracting those big single entities, and Kugath at the end of the day was devoured by Settra's horses, and just like many a thing has been devoured by these things, so good for them. Decent bit of damage on the Lich Priest of Nehekara. The Chariots, looks like the Glory Chasers live up to their name as they get the most damage, though this was not a particularly good location or terrain to be conducive for chariot fighting, but all good. And again, the Sphinxes did well, with the Sekmetra slightly outdoing the line of Petra. As for the Tomb Guard, by a fair bit, it's the first Legion of Khemri, I guess first for a reason. Alright, there we go. Healing isn't much. I'm hoping that we... well, okay, it's 4,000.3 gold. We're not going to say no to that. Alrighty, and then Settra, you can indeed, by the looks of it, entomb beneath the sands, and then hit up Blight River Falls next turn. I guess we'll actually move Alcazar to follow you. I would like him to leech the XP. We're trying to get him to rank 15 after all. And Samtik, you are no longer needed, so... yeah, there we go. I wanted to double up on this since we have plagues bloody everywhere right now. As weird as it is to be dealing with so many plagues with the Tomb Kings. Anyway, I'd like you to just keep an eye on this, and ooh, look at that. I guess confederating Katep's going to take a little bit of effort. He's got all of his armies around a garrison. Alright, fair enough. Oh man, I'd actually really prefer not to have to kill off all of these guys, because wouldn't we get all of these armies joining us then? That would be really nice, but if we kill them all, then that won't quite work out, will it? Well, nonetheless, gotta confederate him anyway. It's Katep. Oh, and then... well, Katep's the important one. Anyway, with that, folks, we're out of time, and I'm gonna call the episode here. I'll do a little bit of the admin between the episodes, like the heroes and the building. Okay, maybe not the heroes, but at least the building. This turned out to be... well, we did get a bunch of big fights, but we also had a fair bit of admin to do in this particular episode, as we... okay, gotta remember to have this guy attack these guys. As we have to start recruiting and getting all those new heroes up and running. We got like 4 new armies that will soon be on field, or 5 new armies, and we gotta prepare for that. So anyway, prepare for it and stay tuned for it, and more Settra in general. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.